we are exactly 2 months away from the start of the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris, France. I have mentioned many times before that your minister has a long list of obsessions and guilty pleasures in life. If you are keeping track, some of those that I have lifted up from this pulpit and within these hallowed walls are the Eurovision Song Contest, carrot cake, unicorns, especially the pastel pink stuffed variety, and literally anything that comes from Starbucks. But the Summer Olympics is one that holds a particularly special place in my heart. I remember watching the 1992 Barcelona Olympics with my parents and not being entirely sure what I was watching, but fascinated by the different sports in different countries that I came back to it year after year. As I got older and began participating in sports myself, I would watch with an appreciation of the athletic competitions and excitedly follow along as the medal count was updated each day to see if the United States was in the lead. But as I got older even still, while I still appreciated the Olympics for the incredible accomplishments of the athletes that were across my TV screen, what I came to look forward to were hearing the backstories of the athletes. Where did they come from? What did they have to do, or in many ways overcome, in order to become an Olympic athlete? And more importantly, what did the Olympics mean to them? I also became aware of what the Olympics meant not just for the athletes, but the spectators and armchair fanatics at home. In a world where simply turning on the TV to watch the news can be an endless stream of animosity, natural disaster, and what seems to be the worst aspects of humanity on display and on a pedestal, the Olympics became an escape from all of that painful reality for me. It gave me hope that for at least 2 weeks, there was something good in the world that we could focus on and talk about around the water cooler. That we could actually share what had given us hope and had inspired us, even if it was just for a brief moment, so that we knew that hope for something and about something was possible again. The Olympics has always been a never-ending fount of these stories. How 16-year-old Mary Lou Retton from the small town of Fairmont, West Virginia, won the first Olympic gold medal for the United States in women's gymnastics in 1984. How the dream team of NBA All-Stars dominated the men's basketball competition in 1992. How the success of women's teams in 1996 in gymnastics, basketball, soccer, and softball led to increased participation in and greater opportunities for women's sports in the US. How Usain Bolt of Jamaica broke the world record in 2008 to win the men's 100 meters and became the fastest man in history, and did the same for 2 consecutive Olympics after that. If you ask the truly obsessed Olympic fans like myself, we will tell you of the less publicized stories that are all the more impactful. How a team of synchronized divers from Greece stunned the world in 2004 to win an Olympic gold medal at home. How Somali refugee Mo Farah came to win the 5,000 and 10,000 meters in 2012 in front of a cheering crowd in his adopted homeland of Great Britain. How Australian diver Matthew Mitchum delivered a near-perfect final dive to defeat the favored Chinese divers to become the first openly gay gold medalist in Olympic history. How unseeded tennis player Monica Puig defeated a list of the top female players in the world to win in 2016 the first ever gold medal for Puerto Rico. How the rugby sevens team from tiny Fiji dominated the competition in 2016 to win the first ever gold medal and first ever Olympic medal for their country. How Joseph Schooling defeated his idol Michael Phelps to win the 100-meter freestyle and the first ever gold medal for Singapore. And then there is the story of John Stephen Akhwari from Tanzania. Akhwari competed in the marathon at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. Not just any runner, but any athlete will tell you that the marathon is one of the most grueling athletic competitions in the great pantheon. Historically, it has been held on the last day of the Olympics, with the athletes running the final 400 meters on the track of the Olympic Stadium to great cheers from the audience in the stands. But before they can get there, the runners have to run through the streets of the city where the Olympics is being held for 26.2 miles, or 50 to 55,000 individual steps. Also, historically, though not intentionally, it is usually held on the hottest day of the 2 weeks that the Olympics takes place. It is a physically pounding race that even the most seasoned and well-trained and prepared runners struggle to finish. As soon as the 1968 marathon had begun, Akhwari found himself already having difficulty. He was not used to the altitude in Mexico City and began cramping up at the beginning of the race. At about 12 miles into the race, Akhwari collided with another runner and fell to the ground. He had badly injured his shoulder and cut and dislocated his knee, with over half the race still to compete. But then Akhwari did the unthinkable. After having his leg attended to by medical personnel, he got up, resumed the race, and kept going. It took Akhwari nearly 3.5 hours to complete the marathon. By then, he was not running, but hobbling along each and every step. It took him so long to finish the race that the sun had already started to set, and most of the spectators that had gathered to watch the marathon had left and gone home. It was only a TV crew that was packing up to go home that witnessed John Stephen Akhwari coming into the stadium and painfully complete the last 400 meters on his badly bloodied and bandaged legs to make it over the line. Over an hour after the winner, Mamu Wolde of Ethiopia, had finished the race. Out of 57 competitors in the 1968 marathon, Akhwari had finished dead last. When asked by the television crew that had watched him finish the race why he had kept going, even after being badly injured, Akhwari, a very humble and matter-of-fact character, uttered one of the most iconic quotes in the history of the Olympics. "My country did not send me 5,000 miles to start the race. They sent me 5,000 miles to finish it." Akhwari would not run another Olympic marathon again, but he did continue running, finding success and winning medals on the continental and Commonwealth levels. He quietly retired in the mid-1970s and returned to Tanzania, where he and his wife resumed their lives managing a small farm. A similar story of perseverance over adversity came 24 years later at the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona during the men's 400-meter final. Shortly before the halfway point of the race, British runner Derek Redmond, the national record holder at 400 meters and one of the favorites for an Olympic medal that year, felt his hamstring snap, and he fell to the ground in immense pain. But just like John Stephen Akhwari in the marathon, he got up and struggled to finish the race, waving off medical personnel who rushed to the track, urging him to stop. As he got to the final 100 meters, he suddenly realized that there was someone else with him on the track. His father, Jim Redmond, had pushed past security officials to be by his son's side on the track. "Derek, it's me. You don't need to do this," Jim whispered in his ear. Choking back tears, Derek told him, "Dad, I just want to finish." His dad replied back, "Okay, we started this thing together, and now we will finish it together." For the final 100 meters in front of a packed athletic stadium, Derek Redmond limped along, his dad whispering in his ear the entire time, "You're a champion. You've got nothing to prove." As they reached the finish line, Jim Redmond let go of his son's arm and let Derek cross by himself, finishing the race just like he said that he wanted. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote much about overcoming suffering by changing one's attitude in order to find meaning. He wrote, quote, "Caught in a hopeless situation, one may turn their predicament into an achievement and an accomplishment. They thus may bear witness to the human potential at its best, which is to turn tragedy into triumph." As wonderful as this sounds, it is often more easier said than done. We have to acknowledge that moving forward, even in the smallest of increments, requires immense courage. When we are in the midst of pain, be it from the loss of a loved one, the end of a significant relationship, or any other personal hardship, the idea of progress can feel overwhelming, and it is important to recognize and honor this feeling. Some of us are also not looking to be transcendent examples for future generations. We simply are trying to get through the rest of our lives without it hurting so much. This realization in and of itself can be an important step. Grief and pain are emotions that want to either drag us back into the past, replaying memories and what ifs, or send our minds hurtling into the future, where we can consume ourselves with the worry of what lies ahead. But if we are to truly move beyond grief and pain, we need to ground ourselves in the present reality. And sometimes the best way to do this is to set ourselves small victories that we can be content just finishing. Did you get out of bed today? If the answer is yes, then that is a step forward. Did you take a shower? Another step. Did you make it through a task that you dreaded? Sometimes the answer may be no. And that's okay. You are allowed to let yourself feel whatever you are feeling without judgment, and understand that it is okay to struggle and okay to take time. Be gentle with yourself as you navigate each step. Even if it takes you time to do that step, whenever you get there and once you do it, it is still a step taken and a journey forward. Putting one foot in front of the other does not come with a set time limit. Whether you are sprinting, struggling, walking, or crawling to put that one foot in front of the other, the important thing is that you do it. We can draw strength from the compassion and solidarity of others, knowing that we are not alone and leaning on our community in times of difficulty. Just like Derek Redmond, whose dad helped him and willed him to finish those last 100 meters, there is a comfort in knowing that there is someone walking alongside us at the most difficult and most painful moments. Kim Cowart, a Utah teacher, marathon runner, and motivational speaker, said, quote, "Nothing, not even pain, lasts forever. If I can just keep putting one foot in front of the other, I will eventually get to the end." My hope for you this day is that you can find the strength to keep putting one foot in front of the other to reach the end. And know that you have a whole community of people that are cheering you on and wanting nothing more than to help you get there. May it ever continue to be so. Blessed be. Amen. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Thank you all so much.